Hi. Uh, Today I'm going to talk about introduction to API management. Well, uh, my name is Antons Matrosovs, and I'm working in Ideaport Riga, and I'm working for at least 10 years in integration. So it's pretty much, I'm pretty old. And you may notice then in spare time, I do some physics experiments. You may notice the liquid nitrogen stuff. But actually, I'm volunteering and I working with preschool children and teach them physics. So basically now you know everything about me and I know nothing about you. Well, first I'd like to draw their zombies, but unfortunately during the test, management didn't accept it. But anyway, let we make some exercise. There are not very much of you. Can you please stand up? Just stand up, yeah. So we're gonna talk about API management. I need to know what experience do you have. Well, can you please keep standing if you ever used at least one API? Yeah, everybody, yeah. Great. So, okay, can you please keep standing if you created at least one API and exposed it to the other system? Still everybody's, yeah, you have a great experience. Okay, let's go on. Well, can you please keep standing if you ever worked with API management platform and basically if you worked with any of integration platforms like oh okay then if you ever worked with kind of integration platforms like ESBs or some other stuff, then you also can keep standing. Yes, thank you. So and then please keep standing if you know the difference. Is there a chair who understand the difference between ESB and API management platform? Well, it's a pity. I'm not standing, I'm sitting. Okay, so this session will not be very technical, but I hope that you will not be disappointed and will know at least one new stuff after this session. First question, why do you care? Why APIs? Really, why? Well, first I wanted to gather some statistics, complex statistics about how many mobile phones there are, how many smartphones, how many smart things connected to the internet. But guys, you already know this. Just forget about it. There are a lot of mobile phones, a lot of smartphones with mobile applications. There are a lot of things that are connected to the internet. By the way, how many of you have smartwatches? Somebody have? Anybody? I don't. Okay, smart TVs. Do you have smart TV? Yeah. How many of you do have at least 2 smartphones? Yeah. So the count of these connected devices is growing, and all these devices requires APIs, requires interfaces, which they will work with. But wait a minute. In 2002, somebody very smart defined the web service standards, WSDLs, stuff like that. So all these problems are already resolved. Well, I would say that since 2002, something changed. Let we see what changed since 2002. Well, first of all, users changed a bit. We are not more like this elder men, and the requirements are completely different. The new users demand blasting application speed. They will not use your application, they will not use your API if it will be slow. They want rich functionality. Who of you used some banks applications? Would you use it if there would be like just a map with cash-ins, cash-outs, or no? Well, no. Of course, you require some, not just static info. You require reads, writes, you require statements, you require payments, and so on. You will not use it if it would be not rich functionality and slow. And unfortunately, you're using that with a slow and unstable internet connection on your mobile device. It's not relevant for Latvia, I understand it, but it's very relevant for other countries. And you also might need an offline support. And that really, really changed since 2002. But the other stuff is changing. You guys are changed. The API users, developers are changed. These are API developers, hipsters that are using the APIs. And they demand completely different stuff. They don't want to read 100-page documentation. They just don't care about WSDLs anymore. They just won't use it. They just want very simple stuff and it should work. And they expect really fast speed of delivery. They want APIs appear very rapidly, fastly. They don't want to wait. And they also expect that there will be any problem with scalability. It should not be an issue. And of course, your APIs should constantly evolve very fast and be extended with new fields, with new versions, and so on. Okay, so users changed and the developers changed. Well, what else was changed? Well, actually, what remained? Do you remember such stuff? I don't. Well, legacy systems, unfortunately, these systems are still there, especially in big corporates. And these systems are very hard to change. It's very expensive to scale them. And they residing in internal network. By the way, does anybody work with integration platform ESBs? Somebody worked with more or less used to? Okay. What do you think about ESBs? Are they still very new and are they becoming like legacy systems? Kind of, yeah. Okay. So, well, we really have a problem. Mobile apps count is constantly growing and they demand APIs. Cloud integration is being also demanded. Well, some cloud applications want to call your services. Does anybody heard about Salesforce? Yeah, a lot of. Okay, and the last but not least, public APIs are coming. Do you know about public APIs? Do you know what it means? Yeah, somebody. Okay, does anybody work in bank? Yeah, one. Okay. Uh, well, if you work in bank, then you might heard about PSD2. It's a requirement from European Commission that will change how the banks are working now. So for now, how the authorization, payment authorization is going. You have a credit card, and you enter this information, and some seller or whatever gets this information, and then magic is happening, and finally bank is getting information about transaction, and vice versa, it goes back to the seller. There are a lot of bullets here, and it's really costly to support it. And what European Commission thought that we might change something, and it decided to do like that. So you just give permission to some seller, to Amazon, to make payments from your account. And then every bank in Europe will have same API. And then it will just take payments. The payments will go directly to the bank where you have the account, and that's it. And by the way, this arrow is the upper arrow is gray because you have to give the permission only once. Then you just buy, just click and buy, and that's it. That's the future, and that's about APIs that we will need to implement. Well, there is an approach how to do that. Just do it. Well, let me see what we have. We have hipsters programmers. We have some users. We have merchants or some cloud applications or whatever. And from the other hand, we have a legacy system. Okay, not a problem, not a big deal. And then we create an API that exposes some functionality of this legacy. And then what happens? Everybody have some expectation how it will work. And then you try to connect it. I'd like to visualize that, and I need some help from anybody. I need one volunteer. Who would like to help? Just come on, I will not kill you. We'll try. All right, okay. Thank you. So this is our API, this is our application, and this is how we're gonna connect them. And of course, we do have expectations. No liquid nitrogen. Not yet. So I will blow up the balloon. You should try it at home. Sorry? Okay. I got it. So I exposed the API. I have expectations, and I have the application. Just take it. So now we have the expectation, and we want to connect it. Well, let me switch. I will just try to connect it. Yeah. So basically, we connected our. There is a yeah. We connected, but our expectations blew up. Yeah. Thanks a lot. I will give you some prize. Yeah. So, thank you. So, our expectations blew up. What does it mean? Well, these hipsters, programmers, didn't get the right API. They got some WSDLs. They used these WSDLs wrongly, or there were some major performance issues. By the way, in my experience, that's the most cases when we have major issues with stability and performance. So either this old system just crashed, or the response time is so long that nobody uses your application, or nobody uses your API. Well, what to do with that? What should we do? Maybe API management platform could help us, but let we know what's that and how it could help us. Well, still we have this legacy. We still have these users, and usually this legacy is in internal network. It's firewalled. It's very hard to move there. And there is an API management platform that this picture is very simplified, but the thing is that this API management platform is not residing in the internal network. It's usually residing in some DMZ or even in a cloud or whatever. It depends. And then we just connect it. And then this API management platform will do some magic. And I'm gonna talk a bit more what magic it could give us. What benefits? Well, I'm not going to talk about particular API management platform. I just want to highlight what it should deliver to you developers to ease your life. Well, and of course, you can do everything without API management platform, but then the second API will come and you will start solving your problems from scratch, from start. And then you will have a lot of redundancy code and so on. Well, the day is saved thanks to API management platform. Let we get deeper into that. How can API management platform help you? The first thing that cover API management platform is a security. Well, in any case, you need to have some authentication and authorization to your API. What would you do? You just create some authorization authentication layer, and then you allow users to run your internal services or not allow. And usually all the interfaces that are going from the web are covered by SSL, and usually all internal traffic in the internal network is not encrypted. So it could cover this authentication and SSL. And of course, it should cover this black and white API filtering, and also it should cover attack detection and prevention. How that everything works? So ideally, you should not program at all. You should just configure something in the API management platform, and it should just work. If it's not, then you have trouble. Well, with what questions, what problems could resolve API management platform? It could help you with performance issues. First of all, the very crucial part here that API management platform, if you see here on the picture, it's like a single point, so it could become a single point of failure. So the first thing that you need to have an API management platform that it should be scalable and easily scalable and cheaply scalable. Because if we will speak about enterprise service buses and some integration platforms that are created for enterprises, then yes, they easily scales, but usually the cost of this scaling is so high that business don't want to pay for it. The numbers could be like 10,000 per core per license. So if you would like to have one more node with at least 2 or 4 processors, then you can run out 100,000 of whatever euro, dollars. It doesn't matter. And yeah, it's easily doable, but it's very costly. And with API management platform, you should first think about this cost of and ease of scalability. Another one thing that API management platform could cover is throttling. Well, remember that we had a legacy system on the left side. And this legacy system most probably works, and not most probably, but it's very expensive to scale it. So it has some limits. And usually, in my experience, the performance tests, even performance tests of such platforms are extremely expensive. So if you know its limits, then you can just have this throttle layer in API management platform that will protect your system. That will allow you to limit call rate, and that will allow you to have some stability and performance. And of course, performance in API management platform is all about caching. So if you have some read data, read requests, then you can cache your data. And it's not so easy to do. Remember, you have one API management platform, and ideally it should work for many APIs. So it will have a lot of nodes, and you will have this caching magic through these nodes. So, but it should do it. And another one thing that came to us is SLAs. Ideally, each interface, even internal interface, should have SLA, but in reality, it doesn't. But for APIs that you expose to external users, you will have SLAs, and you should monitor them somehow, and you should guarantee some performance. So let me go ahead. And another one stuff that is coming is visibility. So if you have only one API, you will not have a problem with visibility, almost. But assume that you have more than one. You will have most probably some mobile app and some cloud app and maybe some other APIs that will be used. And then you need to have some higher view on what is happening. What APIs do you have? What system can use these APIs? Do they use them or not? What versions do you have of APIs? What you are planning to deploy, and stuff like that. And this is connected to logging, to tracing, to metrics. So you want to have most probably everything logged, and you should trace some errors. Basically, API management platform should help you to resolve some incidents. But it should not be like another one layer that distracts you. So it should really be very helpful, out of the box, configurable. And another one stuff that is going right now is about documentation. Have you heard about Swagger? Yeah, a lot of. So basically now the concept of documentation is you should have your code, and then you just generate the docs automatically. Human readable, very rapidly you will have this, and usable documents, not just like WSDLs with a lot of types, complex types, and so on. Another goodies that API management platform should have. It should allow you to better version your APIs. By the way, this problem is really complex. It's really complicated to version any service or API because there are some problems with backward compatibility. You always should think about that somebody already uses your interface, uses your API, and what should you do? How will you handle that? How will you support these older versions? But with API management platform, you can try to do this. You have some format transformations, so you basically can have newer version, and that will support also older requests and transform them to some older format. You will know that nobody uses your older version, so you can just throw it away. Going about mocking. Sometimes, environment is changed for the developers, as I said before. Now, I don't know anyone who is working with waterfall. Everybody is agile, and everybody requires the interface very rapidly. You designed it and you want to get it just the same day. And then the mocking functionality could help you. You just mock the service. Once again, it should be done easily, out of the box, configurable with beautiful UI, very fast. And then this really could save your time. Format transformations. It's SOAP, REST, XML, JSON. You should not care who calls you and in what format. You should have this transformation ability to transform these requests to correct format in API management platform. And then you will start focusing on absolutely other stuff. You will start focusing on the service, how it works, how it really works. And another one goodie that could a good API management platform provide is some simple orchestration. So if you need to have to combine two interfaces or even three interfaces into one, then you can just have one API, and there will be an API management platform. There will be some simple orchestration that orchestrates and will get and split, merge, or whatever with your requests. So once again, I'm not talking about some particular API management platforms. I'm talking about the ideal one. I'm talking about the good one. And I'm not I'm not saying that you need to purchase one, because there are a lot of options of API management platforms. Basically you can implement it by yourself. There are a lot of open source projects like OSO2 or Elk or whatever, and you can get all the goodies by yourself. And to my mind, it will give you some value. So again, Star Wars. I guess it's almost in all presentations. Yeah, it's very popular. Okay, so very interesting statement that API management platform will solve all our problems. I don't know how to do it. Well, I want to stop you if you would like to create a Death Star, some single point which will resolve all your problems. Well, it's impossible to do, basically. And what API management platform could do for you, it could help you, it could speed up the process, but you will still need to solve a lot of problems that you will get. You will still have to think about performance, how you should handle that. Even if you have throttling out of the box, you should know how to use it. If you have transformations out of the box, then anyway you need to know how you will version, how you will handle these new versions of services. So API management platform will not solve your problems. Sorry about that. Well, let we return to our stuff. I need another one, guy. Just go. Well, I'm claiming that if you do this with care and with knowledge, then actually it's possible to keep the expectations. The first question to you: do you know why the balloon pops? Yeah, because of pressure. Somebody else knows? If you will just put the stick in a balloon, in not inflated balloon, will it blow? No. Well, the thing is that it blows because the rubber is stretched. I can demonstrate. If we will stretch the rubber and then it blows. So I know at least 2 points in a balloon where the rubber is not stretched so hard. Do you know that points? Yeah, top and bottom. So let we try. You should do it with a care. Yeah, I have another one balloon, but try. So there is a spot where we should. Yeah, just try. Ah! Yeah, let we go on, but be careful. We should put it here.
How to route?
Ah! Let we try another one. Experience is very important. But it's possible, believe me. So let me try again.
Okay.
very careful. And then we need, once again, we need to move it. It's experience. You never knows. Just try. Just push it a little bit. Yeah. Ah! And the last but not least. Congratulations. And the price? Thank you. So basically, it's possible not to blow up the expectations. I started my presentation with a question about ESB. Does anybody know about what's that it? Enterprise Service Bus. Does it mean something for you? Okay. It's an integration platform that was designed in 2002, 2004. And actually what's happening now, that API management platform is beating it really, really hard. Because it's fat a little bit. So it's very expensive. And it solves other problems. Because initially Enterprise Service Bus, initial integration platforms were all about reuse. It was SaaS services, governance, blah, 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 a lot of reuse. And what happened? Big enterprises purchased Enterprise Service Bus solutions that were very expensive. And they had expectation that this purchase will solve all their problems. Because they will have reuse, they will have SOA, they will have governance, they will have everything. But they didn't have it, actually. Because we did not have any experience, and we just did it. We just integrated the systems. Of course, it helped us in some way, but actually we failed. IT failed in that area. And as a result, ESBs became like legacy. And my intent today is to make your thinking not to fail with API management platform. Just don't think that this is a silver bullet. No, absolutely. It's just a toolbox, toolkit. It's a set of tools that will help you, that will guide you. But these tools will not solve your problems. These tools will not solve enterprise problems. So I wish you good luck with API management platforms. And do you have some questions to me? Yeah. Good examples? Well, in 2006, actually, I was working in a bank that time, and I started working there. And I started working in one project and worked there 2 years. So I made all the mistakes there. And then I had the chance to create the new approach, the new architecture in new project. And there we created very good architecture on IBM message broker. So I believe that it's doable. It can bring the value. ESB can bring the value, but it's a tricky one. It's not so easy. And the same as with API management platforms. It's not so easy. when you start using it, it looks like very fancy. You like with you just flying. It's cool. You can do stuff very fast. And then you start doing, you create one interface, second interface, third interface. Then you start creating versions of this interface. Then some stuff is changing. Then enterprise purchase another one integration platform or API management platform, or purchase some cloud stuff. And then you can have mess there. So yes, it's possible, but with care and with experience.
Okay, and so you mentioned a couple of tools, open source tools. Which do you recommend? Which are the best tools?
Well, we are working with Spring integration. It's free. We are working with Elk. It's also free, and it's very useful for logging and monitoring stuff. WSO2 is also okay, so grab one.
Any other questions?
Okay, then thank you. And push the right button.